Welcome back to the Nick Nice Show. Our next guest you've probably seen on HGTV's House Hunters. She's also been featured in the AJC, and she's the youngest president inducted into the Women's Council of Realtors. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Ross, thank you, love, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we have so much to cover, but first, I want to start with you. And how did you get involved in real estate?
I started off in media sales after I graduated from college, and it just wasn't challenging. And so I was looking for a challenge, and someone mentioned working for a developer, and I said, why not? I'll learn on the fly. And that's what I've done, and it's become my passion.
Now, you take care of both domestic and international transactions. Can you tell us a little bit about the difference between both the transactions and the clientele?
Domestic clients definitely have an understanding of the market or somewhat of the market, but they definitely understand where they are at and where they want, and they're very specific. Versus international clients, whether they're relocating as a second home or they're going to make this their primary home or an investment, it's more so helping them understand the culture of the market that they're coming into.
Now, many of our viewers are aware that the housing bubble burst happened like around 2007. Can you tell us how the market has changed since then?
Thankfully, it has changed. It was a very scary time, and it was a complete shift. We went from a glut of houses, too many foreclosures, and now you can barely find foreclosures. It's very hard, as well as the inventory or the homes for sale are tighter, so it's harder for buyers to find homes. So prices have gone up, and the demand has gone up and supply has gone down.
Now, before we get into buying a home, I'm sure there's a lot of people watching who may still be underwater in their mortgage. Are there any programs out there still around to help them?
Well, nationally, there's the HARP program, and there's also NACA that helps as well. The biggest thing with those programs, you have to pack your patience, and you need to make sure that your first step is contacting your individual lender.
Now, you have some people out there who are thinking about buying a home. Like, what would be your advice in regards to the first step that they should follow in regards to the whole process?
The first step is find your team. These are going to be the people that you rely on throughout this process. And you may not think it's an emotional process, but it is. So you want to make sure that not only do they know the ins and outs and the language, the different language we speak in real estate, from HUDs to PUDs to HOAs, but you want to make sure that they truly have a vested interest in understanding what your needs are and that they're going to be there for you.
Okay, so now that they've built a team, like, what's the next step?
So after that, we want to make sure that you know how much you can spend. It's, once you get your pre-approval, it's like having a Nordstrom card with no interest. You can go and you can shop and you can find what's in your price range.
Once you find out how much you can spend, what should people consider when it comes to shopping for a home?
That's a good one, because a lot of people, location is very important. And sometimes if you want to be in a certain location, you're going to have to sacrifice space or your commute. So you really have to look at your lifestyle. That's the biggest thing. We are proponents of lifestyle real estate. How do you live your life? Where do you go after work? What do you do when you get home? How can we find what's comfortable and what fits with your needs?
Now, closing is the last step when it comes to the whole home buying process, right? So what are some common mistakes that people should avoid when it comes to closing?
Take an oath now. Raise your hand. Say, I will not apply for any credit. That is the thing. You cannot go to Best Buy and look at that TV and buy that TV when you're going through the home process. I have a friend, also an agent. The person went and bought a brand new car before closing. So guess what? You basically have to live in your car because you're not going to buy that house.
Now, I want to talk to you about national trends, but we have to take a break. Can you hang around for a bit?
I sure can.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Kristen Ross after this.
The Nick Nice Show, sponsored by Hennessy VS. Never stop, never settle.